Kitten. All right. This was a really awful idea, but I brought my new kitten out here because I was afraid to leave him in the house alone. But this is the new kitten, and he is a wiggly mess. So if I get distracted for any reason, then that'll probably be why. See, you want up and then you want down. What's going on? Ow, that really hurts. All right, y'all. Today is MLK Day. And before I forget, please complete. What did I write? Why would I write this? Please complete. Oh, there's a survey that I'm sending around. This is not going well. I don't know what you're doing, Kat. Anyways, there is a survey that my friends and I are trying to get completed so we can compile data for the films that we want to make. And we want to get to know our audience. So I will put that somewhere in the real show. I haven't really thought all of this through. And instead of doing the usual, look, this is gonna, kitten, what are you doing? Come here, kitten. Come on. Just stay there for a second. This is gonna be a super stressful, eventful week, and that's the only thing about my professional life. Collectively here in the US, this will have cat. We will have cat in the US. I know. I know kitten. I gave him a name. His name is Klaus because he has really sharp claws. Anyways, here in the US, we have Inauguration Day, and we just don't know what will happen. I mean, look, this is supposed to be a relatively easy day, Inauguration Day. It's supposed to be a peaceful transfer of power, as it has been for the past 100 years or so. I'm tempted to say for all of it, but I just don't know. And the fact that we're all worried about election or Inauguration Day is a huge red flag that none of this is normal. But for today, for my sanity, we're going to review some MLK facts and tidbits, all courtesy of Wikipedia. Cat, I don't know what you're into. You keep meowing, but you won't let me hold you. That's a step up from Maggie, though. Maggie won't let me hold her at all. All right. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, officially birthday of Martin Luther King Jr., is sometimes referred to as MLK Day, is a federal holiday in the United States marking the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. It is observed on the third Monday of January each year. King's birthday is actually January 15th, so it was 3 days ago, according to my calendar. The National Martin Luther King Day of Service was started by former Pennsylvania U.S. Senator Harris Wofford and... Wofford? Cat, why? Why are you destroying that? But, if that gives you pleasure, do it. It's just a roll of paper towels. Started by former Pennsylvania U.S. Senator Harris Wofford and Atlanta Congressman John Lewis, who co-authored the King Holiday and Service Act. The federal legislation challenges Americans to transform the King Holiday into a day of citizen action volunteer service in honor of King. The federal legislation was signed into law by President Bill Clinton on August 23, 1994. Since 1996, Wofford's former state office director, Todd Bernstein, has been directing the annual Greater Philadelphia King Day of Service. Why would I copy that? But it is the largest event in the nation honoring Dr. Martin Luther King. The only other National Day of Service in the U.S. as designated by the government is September 11th, National Day of Service, 9/11 Day, which makes sense. On May 2nd, 2000, South Carolina Governor Jim Hodges signed a bill to make King's birthday an official holiday. The reason I bring this up is because South Carolina was the last state to recognize the day as a paid holiday for all state employees. Before the bill, employees could choose between celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Day or one of 3 Confederate holidays. That is just, And with that said, let's bring up the fact that Robert E. Lee Day, also called Lee's birthday, is a public holiday commemorating the birth of Confederate General Robert E. Lee, observed each year on the third Monday in January. Why, of all the days, number one, why is it a holiday? And then number 2, why the exact same day? There's a lot of thoughts around that. This holiday is observed in the U.S. South, particularly. Kat, you're making me nervous. There's chords and, again, do I make smart decisions? I don't know. But that holiday that I just mentioned is particularly observed in Alabama and Mississippi, which surprises Absolutely no one. And in further tidbit and information, Blue Monday is a name given to the day in January, typically the third Monday of the month, said by a UK... Ow! Okay, Cat, you are everywhere. Okay. Said by UK travel company Sky Travel to be the most depressing day of the year. The concept was first published in a 2005 press release from the company, which claimed to have calculated the date using an equation, which takes into account weather conditions and all that other good stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Weather conditions. Look, it's a cat. So, all of that's out of the way, and really, I'm done recording for the day. Oh, man, I should have been recording this. Hello, Kitty. Hello, Kitty. Oh, no, it recorded. Go back to destroying my studio. So, that's really all the information I have for you today. Depressing day of the year, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Yeah, I really didn't want to give air to the southern states celebrating what they did, but it's just impossible to ignore the... Do you even call it pettiness? Do you call it something? I just don't know. Let's go over to the Book of Faces and see what's going on there. You'll have to bear with me. I'm trying new things, and it's terrifying. Because there's also a cat. This was, again, smart decisions made by me. Not the best. I hear you, kitty. I hear you. Alright, so we tried new things. They're amazing. I'm going to cut this off and see how it looks on my end, but thank you for bearing with me while I test out this live function. And for my recording, I'm going to say let's introduce the next part of my interview with Daniel Delnero. And for you live people, you're just not going to see it now, you're going to see it later. This cat is wild. He is wild. Absolutely wild. Kitten. 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 I wanted to name him Hemingway because he's got this really awesome sense of adventure, but I did not. All right, gotta go. Vacation's next.
Okay, it's a lot of fun.
Thank you. I really like the setup of this because I really do like chatting and listening to people talk, even though it seems like I'm talking a lot. But I like hearing. I don't know, like it's just.
No, it's a very free flowing conversation.
Yeah, like, and we just happen to have cameras around that are recording it, and then I'll go through and bing bang bong, and there's an episode.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you're welcome to come on whenever you want to.
How often do you post them?
I do a daily show, like Monday through Friday, and
Gotcha.
Every 4 or 5 weeks I'll take a break, but I'll post the videos online, and then I upload the audio to a podcast, and then it's a whole system.
Cool.
But it's kept me busy all pandemic. Like, it was
sure.
Literally something where I was like, I cannot sit around doing nothing. Like, I'm an actor, and then our print shop, the business is slowed down, so it's like I'm not doing anything, and all this equipment is lying around. So.
Gotcha. Where's the print shop at?
It's on Boulevard, near Zoo Atlanta and Grant Park and Oakland Cemetery.
Okay. Like
the intersection of Boulevard and Memorial near Cabbagetown.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is that how you kind of came up with the Duchess of Grant Park character?
Yeah, actually. Eddie and I used to live in Grant Park, and then about a year into our relationship, we moved over here. But we were in Grant Park so much, and Grant Park felt like it's always been mine. So I was like, this is my Dutchie. Let's make a movie about this. And then bing, bang, bong.
Nice.
Apparently I'm a Duchess now.
Like it. And so you're going to do another movie?
Yes.
So we can talk about that on camera.
I'm going to go ahead and intro us. So I have with me a friend from college, Daniel Delnero. He is a lawyer, but more interestingly, he's just an interesting person to talk to who also enjoys drinking winter white Earl Grey with cognac in it out of a fancy teacup because it just makes you feel classier.
I feel very classy right now.
You look very classy, so there's that.
If you're going to be an alcoholic, you should look classy doing it.
I think so, because especially if you're going to get caught, if you look classy doing it, then people are like, you rapscallion you.
Exactly.
If you look not classy, then they're like, let's throw you in jail.
Right. Yeah, it looks like you're coming from a professional event.
There you go.
I mean, no, I was sitting behind a liquor store drinking out of a plastic bag. But I look like I came from a professional event.
Right.
That's what
matters. The next scene in The Duchess is literally just going to be her standing behind a dumpster in a tiara, drinking, and people are like, what are you doing? It's like, it's okay, I'm a Duchess.
I will be there for that shoot. I'll be in the background.
I love it. I'm going to call you for that one.
I'll be there. I'll be disappointed if you don't.
No, you're welcome to be an extra on any of the movies that I do. But yes, as you're asking, doing a movie next. We just did The Duchess. The Duchess is on the festival tour, and we are shooting The Waltz. I'm pointing to the script right there because.
Oh, nice.
And yeah.
So how's it been shooting it during the pandemic?
So right now we're just in pre-production for that. Like we have not filmed anything during the pandemic. Everything's moved to Zoom, like Zoom performances, Zoom, everything.
Because The Duchess was a live show too, wasn't it?
No.
Or at least at times.
No. So with The Duchess, like that was a short that we shot in 2019, and then there were live events that I would do with it to help raise attention
That's
and
what I
awareness.
was thinking of.
Yeah, and so like in the process, I became a quasi socialite type figure where it's like, oh, I'm doing things, I'm going out there and
Well, if you're a duchess, you have to be a socialite. You can't be a stay-at-home duchess.
right, that's what I figured. So it was like, all right, let's get out there, and it was a lot of fun. And then last year the pandemic hit, and I literally went to Grant Park. They're opening, it was their first soiree under the canopy because they're opening a new exhibit between Grant Park and the zoo. And so that was the last event that I went to, and I remember being really sick. Like I was doing the raffle prizes, and it's like, y'all, I'm running a horrible fever.
Probably don't want to be around me right now.
Probably don't want to be around me. So I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to give away the tiara and present the award or whatever. And then I got to go, and I literally came home and slept all weekend. In retrospect, that could have been COVID. We just don't know.
So you were the original super spreader through the tiara.
Right.
We found patient zero in Atlanta.
Let's not put it that way, but when you do put it that way, I told my hairdresser and she was like, it was you, wasn't it? And I was like, no, that's so rude. Why would you do that? No. But the question I was going to ask you is we got to talking about, getting stuck on cruise ships and how awful that would be. So what's your ideal vacation?
My ideal vacation is somewhere with the beach
Okay.
with either French or Italian food.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is the French or Italian Riviera.
That or Croatia.
Okay.
The Croatian coast has really good Italian style food, and it also has Eastern European style food
Okay.
as well. And like you can actually afford to go there, unlike the French and Italian Riviera. So that's probably, in terms of recent vacations, that was probably the best one I've had.
Okay.
It was.
When'd you go?
I went in 2016.
Okay.
I have a friend from there who still has a house there, so he kind of showed me around. And then when I went to other cities along the coast, he would kind of call people so they would kind of show me around. So it was a lot. I went by myself.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Like I basically just ate and drank my way through the Dalmatian coast.
Isn't that's really the only way to travel?
Yeah.
Like, and that's one of the reasons, me personally, like I love traveling to Europe. Like my home base is always going to be Paris whenever I travel because I'm always going to be traveling Europe. But what I love about it is I can get drunk, I can eat along the way, and it's just I'm going to stumble into a taxi or wherever and find my way home, and it's amazing.
Right. And so I kind of use Rome as my home base when I go to Europe.
Okay.
I really like Paris too, but for whatever reason, I just always use Rome.
Okay.
And so when I'm in Rome now, I mean, the first time I went, I signed up for like tours and things like that.
Yeah.
Now I just kind of go and wander around. And
Yes.
I just like walk around, pop into random cafes. I'll walk around drinking a Bellini in like the middle of the street because
Love it.
people don't know that they don't care that you're getting drunk in the middle of the day. But
They're like,
there's-
that's not my business.
Right.
Like, I don't need to pay attention to that. He's doing him.
Well, and the good thing about going there is you don't have to. Yeah, you can go and spend $2,000 on a meal, and it will be incredible. But you can also go and spend $20 on a meal, have really good wine that would cost hundreds of dollars here, but there, because it's like from just up the road, it doesn't. So you can go have really good wine, really good food. Like, you know, what here would be a $500 Italian meal, there you're paying 10 or 20 euros.
Yeah.
And just kind of wander around, randomly pop into places to eat, randomly pop into places to drink. You can find good like shops and things like that. Just, you know, you don't have to go to the name ones. You can
Right.
just, and it's like an old Italian guy and an old Italian woman sitting in the back sewing things.
Right.
And so it's, and then just spend your time that way. I usually don't even get in a taxi. I just wander around until I get tired, and then I start wandering my way back and just kind of stop at bars and cafes and refresh myself on the way back.
Okay, it sounds like you like to travel the exact same way that I like to travel. Like, it's literally like I land, I put my stuff in the hotel, and then it's like, I just want to go walk. Like, when Eddie and I go to cities, it's like we're walking 7 to 10 miles a day because it's literally just
Yeah.
get out and explore the city with your feet. Like,
Yeah, so you can actually lose weight despite eating and drinking an ungodly amount.
well, not only that,
And
but it's just like, you're just, there's something beautiful about exploring a city with your feet and just
you actually
wandering.
feel the city.
Yeah.
It's not if you're going to different tourist destinations with like a tour group, or even if you're doing it by yourself in a cab, you don't really feel the city. You
Yeah.
feel once you're actually walking around, especially if you end up walking around through neighborhoods,
Yeah.
which kind of you have to. If you're just wandering around, you end up in neighborhoods. You end up
Right.
in parts where people live. You can really kind of feel the energy of a city in the way that you can't with guided tours and things of that nature.
I will say this, like, because, like, I studied abroad in Paris, and so, like, I feel very comfortable, like, wandering around. Like, I've gotten to the wandering point with Paris. But it's funny, I've been to Rome 3 times, and every single time it's been with someone who's never been there.
Gotcha.
So
So
it
you
has
have to kind of show
been,
them.
like, all right, let's do this all over again. Like,
Right.
so I'm looking forward to going and actually being able to wander around the city and not do, like, the Colosseum and the Vatican and all that
Right.
stuff.
So we were talking about religion on a past episode. The last time I went to church was by accident.
By
It was-
accident,
it-
love that so much.
It's in the Vatican. I was there with an ex-girlfriend, and we went to lunch, and we're drinking a lot of wine because
course.
it was hot, and they had really good white wine, and so we probably at least a bottle each. I don't know. It
Who's
was a while.
counting?
Then decided, okay, now would be a good time to go see the Vatican. We thought we were in line for the tour.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Felt like we got in the wrong line, and we're in line for mass. And so, it's in Latin. So, at first, we don't realize that we're in mass because in the tour they're speaking English.
Right.
If you're going to pray, they're not. But so I don't. This is the first time I've been overseas.
Okay.
So, I'm not used to being. I'm not looking for the verbal cues that I know to look for now to know how you can kind of get around even if you don't speak the language. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know how to do it. So I'm thinking, okay, I guess they're giving the tour in Latin. Interesting. Then we get in, we sit down, and they start. I was raised Catholic, so I know enough of the kind of speech patterns, even though here it's in English, and like when to sit down, when to stand up. Like, oh, not the tour. That was the last time I was in church. Completely by accident, and I wasn't like sloppy drunk,
Right.
but I had a good buzz going.
Okay.
I was feeling pretty good.
I love that so much. There are some things where it's like you would love to recreate it for film or whatever, but it's just like something like that can't be recreated.
You
Where it's
can't
like
recreate it.
I'm
Yeah.
stumbling and I am somehow in mass and I don't know how this happened
Right.
and I'm drunk too. Like
Yeah, I mean, even if I could go to the same, and I've gone to that same restaurant every time I've gone back, but I could go to the same restaurant, have the exact same amount of wine, and and it wouldn't be the same. There was just something about accidentally doing it, and then because I was Catholic enough to kind of know when to do everything.
that's the best
at least,
part.
now, I may have looked completely off kilter, but at least in my mind, I was doing everything correctly and like was passing. I was, I'm supposed to be in church right now.
Right.
Probably not at all. Like I was probably they're probably who's this idiot.
Yes, we're like, no. This is just how we do it in my country.
Yeah, you're supposed to fall over those 6 chairs on the way to communion.
Did you really fall over?
No.
Oh, okay. That is amazing. That is one of the best travel stories I've heard. Okay. Rome is your home base.
Rome's my home base when I go to Europe. Yeah.
I like how that started off and how that ended. My eyes are still watering.
But you can also get cheap. It's the same thing with Paris. You can get cheap flights there. So once you get in Europe, you can get around Europe cheaply. So you got to have somewhere where you kind of.
Yeah.
You don't want if you're going to. I mean, this. You travel so often. If you're going to, like, Croatia or Portugal or someplace like that, you don't fly there. You fly to one of the big ones, and then get a $50 flight.
Yes. And so, okay. So, first time Eddie and I went to Europe, that was his first time going to Paris now. That was 2017. Did a wonderful trip. I planned it to the T, like Paris, London, Amsterdam. We got really high in Amsterdam and wandered around, and then we were in some sex club, and then we watched them take out somebody. Like, they were passed out in the cubby hole, and like, oh God, that's not good. Like,
They passed out in the cubby hole. So was it like the individual This is the Duchess After Dark.
It is.
Was it like like a peep show, or was it like one of the
No.
theater style ones?
Oh, no.
Not that I've ever been.
Right. Okay. You could say that. So when I talk about sex clubs,
It's relevant for the story somehow.
It is relevant for the story. No, this is where it's like,
if not, still gonna make it funnier.
you have a main area, you got a bar and like just a hanging out lounging for when you're done wandering the different rooms, and then it's like just little galleries, and one's a completely dark room, and then you got these like cubby holes are really the only way to describe them, where it's like they're rooms, but there's a raised platform that's completely padded because it's a sex club and all that.
Right.
So, and there's like multiple of these rooms all over. And so like Eddie and I are just wandering around, and we saw the guy like in the bar area. It was like, he was clearly on something. And then next thing you know, like somebody's busting out one of the cubby holes like, help in Dutch or whatever. And then the people, the EMTs or whatever come in, and they're like carting him out, and he's like,
oh, another one.
Dead looking. And it's just like, oh my God, that's traumatic. You want to do another spin around the circle?
I mean, if you're gonna go, you might as what a way to go.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
On Molly in a sex club in Amsterdam.
I'm pretty sure it was Molly. We don't know. And then also it's like, well, maybe it was a prostitute. We just don't know. Somehow Eddie and I kept looking for the red light district in Amsterdam, and we'd never.
It sounds like you found it.
We did not, though. Surprisingly
So this was not the red
this
light
was not the
district.
red light district. Like, this was just of all.
So were you actually in a sex club, or were you just having sex in a movie theater?
No, it was a sex club. Like, it's a full-on sex club, which surprisingly enough was behind a church.
Amsterdam, different social norms.
Right, I love it. But what that really was leading me to, somehow I got way off track.
I'm really curious what this was actually leading to. Because the story kind of started with a dude passed out in a cubbyhole at a sex club. I'm really curious what that was gonna be the jumping off point to.
It wasn't the jumping off. It was a Rob tangent. Like, it was just like, that was completely besides the point, because the main point was you were talking about $50 flights out of the home base. So like, we took a $50 flight from Paris to Vienna, and then took a train to Vienna to Prague, and I hated Prague and all of that stuff. Like, it was a really boring story about home base.
I still don't know where the sex club, because you didn't fly into Amsterdam.
No, we took a train to Amsterdam.
You weren't going to Amsterdam in this particular story.
No, it literally was, I said Amsterdam, and that reminded me of the time that Eddie and I saw a guy get carted out in a sex club.
Now I'm kind of curious what happened to that dude.
I still wonder to this day, like, what happened to him.
Although getting carted out of a sex club from, like, taking too much acid or Molly or whatever in Amsterdam is probably a fairly common thing.
Fairly common. Although, I will say, like, so Eddie and I tried the weed there, and it was delicious, number one.
A lot stronger.
A lot stronger. Also, it was like doing ecstasy. Like, that's how amazing it was. I swear to this day, I had the best burger of my life, and he was like, it's because you're high. And I was like, it's not just because I was high. Like, this burger was delicious and amazing. So, yes, I highly recommend Amsterdam.
And the burgers.
And the burgers.
After the brownies.
After the brownies, and before the sex club, though.
Yeah.
Don't go on a full stomach.
And then don't pass out in the sex club.
Don't.
Yeah, you never want to go to a sex club with a full stomach.
I will say, too, like, I remember, like, they were selling shroom, like, bars there or whatever, so who knows what he was on.
Probably a combination.
I hope so, for his sake. Okay, so where else are...
I don't know where we go from there.
I don't either. So where we go is we're at the 16-minute mark, so we're just going to cut the episode right there. Clearly we're having a lot of fun, so stay tuned for the very last part as we conclude this week of Daniel.